We are live here at the Very Opinionated Show. Our show consists of facts and truth, but our opinion don't reflect the CDC nor discredit their policy based on statements or comments about any medical statement that we may make on this show or anything we may say pertaining to any medical or shape, form, or fashion. That is our disclaimer. Now, man, let's jump into this because you know me, man. I'm kind of hot under the collar about certain things that took place on our last one, and I don't like nobody, shushing me when I have a right to speak what's on my mind. People get offended, and knowing that we are not professionals, so of course it's gonna be based on our opinion. I just don't think people should take offense to it. But however, I get what's going on. I know what's going on. But with that said, man, now let's continue our conversation, man.
Well, let me jump in where you left off because. I've noticed, it is not a knock against any social media platform, but I use YouTube fairly a lot, and I've noticed when it comes down to relevant content, I don't get that pushed to my phone frequently. It's always nonsense. I get like if I pull up Dane Calloway or anything dealing with maybe like let's say truth about religion, truth about Templars, or truth about the financial system, truth about racism, truth about slavery, anything that's relevant content that could change your mindset and perspective, concerning the way you're living, that doesn't come to my phone. I got to keep typing that in. But see, the nonsense is on there every time.
Every time.
Click on my app. It got a bunch of nonsense coming to my phone,
and they leave it on there. That's the key.
Yeah, they leave it on there. Yeah, because if I type in right now, stupid videos, like remember back in the day when we was young, remember the show Jackass? So if I type that in and I watch it, they're gonna have all kind of videos gonna start hitting my phone like that on YouTube, on a frequent basis. But if I type in Dane Calloway or either what's our man? What's the dude name? Oh man, I can't believe I forgot his name. With the glasses, the one we first started out on years ago, and that was putting everybody on game about what's going on from a religious standpoint. You gave me the video. You gave me an audio cassette first of him.
I want to say, Doctor, was it Ray Hagan?
Ray Hagan, my G.
Yeah, my boy.
If I type him in and look at him one time, I have to type him in tomorrow too, because he's not gonna get his videos not gonna start hitting the YouTube algorithm. Right. So
he man, and shoot, man, that was when I introduced you to him, man. That was what 2010, 11, something like that.
Have been before that, man. I want to say way before that.
Yeah, because I told you, man, it's been like almost 20 years since
it might have been about 2010, but it
Yeah, and my homeboy, he turned me on to that, and it's been almost 20 years, and that's when I started changing up a lot, man. And we're talking about since what had really have taken place in those years, man, because once I started, start really, really observing what was going on from the church to hell, even just relationships. You know, I was got to telling my wife before she went to bed. I was like, man, shoot, black woman, man, going to church, man, that man, shoot. She said, "Well, why? I wonder why a lot of black men don't go to church, but you have a lot of black women in church." I said, "Ooh, that's a good thing to talk about because I can tell you from experience why they are there, and yeah, it's two catches, two catchfold, entertainment as well as you trying to catch a man there. Because man, there's some churches I went to, man. Look at here, they go in like they at a club or something, dressed as though they're in a club. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm like, I don't remember women dressing like this when I was growing up. They was
Gino
more,
Jennings just spoke about that. You can't tell a church female Christian from a prostitute now.
Yeah, Gino boy.
Oh man, that's my G right there.
He
Gino,
don't get up.
See this dude, bro. I want to go to flip. Hey, look, I'm gonna pick hook-ons all season, save up my aluminum cans, sell all that, get me a bus ticket. You know what I'm saying? Go see old Gino, man.
Boy, he be on it, boy. I'm like, boy, he don't get him no slack at all, boy. I said, ooh, but it's all right because you know what? I said he's telling the truth. He's speaking the truth. I think we all have dealt with the truth, and sometimes it becomes uncomfortable. And people, man, they don't like hearing the truth. I really realize that they, especially these days, they get real sensitive and ready to fight and ready to get you fired or hit and insult me and all this other stuff. I'm like, I'm not getting y'all. This is just basically, me and you call it constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Now they talking about you bad mouthed me or you slandering me. I'm like, come on, really? So they're like, man, that's when me don't even say nothing. And that's the generation they want. This the type of generation they want you to not say anything and accept everything and don't have a sensitive be sensitive to their needs or to their wants. A lot of people have rode the piggyback on the civil rights stuff too long, so they need to get off that stuff. That should be over with.
Well, like you say, they don't want to say anything because they want you to be robotic. And that's why we as humans are up for replacement,
Right. This ginger beer now, there ain't no alcohol. It's ginger beer.
Yeah.
It's just ginger. Full of ginger, man.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie this here. Oh, tea that got bold all over the show. Yeah, I wonder if that's what our sponsors.
It's ginger beer. It's ginger beer.
Yeah.
It's good. It's strong, but it's good.
I'm going to try it.
Good. Ginger, straight ginger, man.
They, like I said, they want us to be robotic, and that's why we're up for replacement as human beings. I know you hear about all these people buying farmland, and making all these GMO products. Well, they finna make humans GMO because I feel as though we living too long. So, in order to change that, you got to change our DNA and everything else.
Yeah.
Other than that, why would you be buying up all this farmland? You want to what they call it, like they want to push meat out of the human system. Like, we don't want y'all eating meat no more. We're gonna manufacture everything. All the food you eat, we're gonna create it and manufacture it for you. So I mean, where does that leave us as a species? And you hear about all if you're on YouTube, you're gonna hear about the people want us to be multi-planet species. I think God knew what he was doing when he created the earth. I won't ever worry about an asteroid hitting the planet and killing everybody.
Correct.
Not only that, if you go from a religious standpoint, I've been looking at some stuff lately and seeing some stuff. And for one, I seen a show on the Templars. I didn't know they was named after Solomon's temple, and that's why they call them Templars, after Solomon's temple.
Right.
They build themselves as God's executioners. So my common sense would tell me, why does God need an executioner?
Correct.
You know.
But he ain't gonna destroy the earth anyway.
Right. The
Man gonna
Templars,
just right.
the
Man gonna
Templars
destroy
had
themselves.
vast amounts of wealth, and they
Right.
loaned money to other sects. So I'm like, hold up, y'all. Y'all a religious faction that not only kills people, but y'all also in the business of not only just gaining wealth, but lending it out for profit.
Right.
So now this Christians now. You know what I'm saying? Of course, they was controlled by the Pope, which strategically, them different countries like France, England, all those countries were always constantly trying to get more of their cardinals in the conclave. So when they vote for the next pope, it'll be a pope from their country. That way, their country got control over
Correct.
everything.
Correct. Correct.
Which the Italians always try to keep that like their thing. Like we're gonna always have an Italian pope in an Italian pope in office or whatever. So once again, from a common point, a common sense standpoint, I started thinking about the thing with Adam and Eve. And then
All
I went
right.
from that to Jesus. You got a Jewish man, but none of his disciples are Jewish or Hebrew.
Now,
I started thinking about the logic in that. Like, well, that don't hold up, because if you talk to a Jewish person, they don't view him the same way that Christians do.
right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They
It's
sure
all
don't. They
yeah.
sure don't.
Now, before I go any further, could you give me some perspective on that? On why they, it's like with the Jews, I don't even think they refer to him as God's son or the Savior. They refer to him just as another prophet.
Yeah, just prophet or Messiah.
A Messiah, yeah. Which I didn't know Messiah simply means just a person bringing a message.
Right, that's all the messenger.
Yeah.
And even with that, they don't even see him as the second coming. Those who've been enslaved by the oppressor, that given religion. Of course, we know who put the 66 books together, which was Constantine, which we know was more than 66 books. However, that was to enslave not only from a physical perspective, but also a mental perspective. And of course, you still have that, that slavery brainwashing still today. For the God's sake of me, what the religion have done, but why is you still following?
Right.
That's the killing part. People still know that the priests have molested their children, or these are stories that the media bring up. These are the stories that has news flash across the television, and people still flock to those churches. I'll be the main one to tell you, did I lose my faith in God? Hell no. I would tell you, hell no. But did I lose my faith in the church? Yes, 100%. There's a big difference. And see, this is where the misinformation or the misconception come in at, because I will never lose my faith in God, because I know what he can do. Why? That relationship with the spirit being, or the creator, the one that set everything in place and in tone. But the church, come on, man.
Well,
I'm sitting over there. You like, man, I was in the midst. I sat in a minute office meeting and heard what the bishops and the presiding elders and the pastors discussed and all this other stuff. Yeah, I'm like, come on, man, really? But I'm like, did God said this to y'all for y'all to do to people like this? And you're like, man, God ain't behind none of that stuff.
Well, they once again, they feel as though they God's represented on earth. I don't need you to represent nobody.
No, nope.
And like I was saying earlier, even when you go with Jesus, that is not a Hebrew or Jewish name. That's a Latin name.
Thank you.
So I'm starting to like really see the play. Religion is really for to control everybody, bro. That's
Of
all.
course, of course.
Yeah, man. I mean,
It always been that way. And like I said, for those who not woke, they of course they're gonna beg to differ. They're gonna be like, oh man, y'all don't know what
yeah,
you're talking about. Y'all, man, y'all unreligious folks and so forth and so on, and y'all don't know what man, look here, man. My father was an evangelist for 37 years,
yeah,
including pastor. So, I watched a lot. Hell, I became a minister when in my 20s. And licensed and ordained, and I have seen a lot, and I experienced a lot. And the truth be told, Ramon, I was asked the question like, "Hey, man, once you find out the truth," I said, "Man, I felt as though was like Rick Hager. I'm no longer qualified to be sitting up telling God's people about uh, 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 being redeemed and all of other stuff, knowing that I was not preaching the truth, I was preaching a lie that was told to me. Because we're only going to repeat what was taught to us or what you
yeah,
have heard. That's from the beginning of time. We're only going to repeat it, what we have heard. If you didn't experience or wasn't there, everything is on repetitive, process, but you live and you learn. And I always tell the kids ask me on the when I pick them up, they like, Mr. Bus Driver, this not the way we go. I say, there's more than one way to get to a destination. You do know that, huh? There's like a whole bunch of ways to get to your house, to pick you up or get to this stop. If there's a detour, I have the detour to another location, another street, but I still get to your stop.
right.
And I think this is where the misconception of everybody trying to find out who they are. And I was just telling Snow this. I said, you know what? I said, I think we just don't know who we are. We just evolve in every day, Ramon, trying to figure out who we are. We just a light being on earth, got placed here on earth, trying to figure out how to function in this society that man created, and some of the stuff is just not clear because because I guarantee we are trying to figure out. Okay, well, if that's the case, then they saying this land is this world is especially in America, land of the free, opportunity and all that. However, I present an opportunity, I don't get the chance. You see what I'm saying? Or I apply for Ivy League school, I don't get put in because they say, oh, I'm not smart enough. Who is that? Who is they? I want to know, why are you putting stipulations down? I'm not smart enough. Yeah. And not one time you challenge my way of thinking. You just assume, go on what has been, I guess, my progress since kindergarten. And you got all these kids got thoughts and bright ideas and all that. Oh, well, I'm sorry, you didn't make the grade, so you cannot come to our institution of learning or higher learning. So we're gonna deem you dumb. Now that's crazy to me, but people don't really think about that. I can imagine sending your kid off to, you didn't pay $50,000 to $75,000 for their education. They don't even get a job, don't even nearby make that what you spent. And is it something to think about? Yes, it's plenty to think. It's plenty to think about, because you're like, damn, I just gave away all this money. Y'all can't even hire my child to recoup that money back. No.
Well, once again, it's a system in place. Is that even with society? That's but a simple pyramid scheme. Because
you said it right there.
If everybody is doctors and lawyers, then who gonna do the work that they don't want to do?
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna tell you, your child, is incapable of excelling on this level, because I need him to be a laborer.
But you seeing somebody to the school and say, you can be anything you want to be. And you talking to all these group of kids, you know damn well you're not gonna even give these kids out a chance.
Well, I can't be biased in
Right.
my statement because then I could be sued. So I gotta,
Right.
my platform has to seem inclusive for everybody. When we all know that we just, speaking to a select few people.
Correct. Correct. I just, man, because I'm thinking about my child. She's 3, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at her, man. She catch on to everything real fast.
Right.
She already making sentences. She know how to spell her name. XYZ, all of this, and for somebody to tell me as a parent, oh, she's not, smart enough to be in this school, well, I'm gonna have a problem with that. And see, this is when we talked about where I think we should be having our own school for our own people, for our own children. You know, I just think, man, it's kind of like we afraid in a sense to launch out, of and I'm saying not really afraid for on our end, is the other end,
Mm-hmm.
like I think they're gonna do real well if we allow them. Now let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Ron. And do you think integration was the best thing,
Not at all.
or or it wasn't?
Worst thing.
That was the worst thing.
Yeah. But
I
we
believe so.
got caught up into wanting what we seen other people had.
Correct. I believe so. I just think uh that, because I still believe, hey man, you don't want us in your neighborhood. Hey, shit,
I ain't got a problem with
I
it.
ain't got a problem with it. Hey, if you don't want me to go to your school, still ain't got a problem with it. But then you start looking, and then I start peeping the game. But when it comes to the high schools and stuff like that, when they wasn't when the white schools had to play the black schools, and they getting they breaks beaten off of them. And them white coaches like, man, look, I'm getting tired of getting, but we got to start recruiting some of these black players. Well, there
Yeah.
you go. That's even for the colleges. Even when I seen the segment on what was that, 44? What's his name? Myers.
Yeah.
Same thing. Man. Uh, that right there is a proven fact right there. Man, look, they ain't want you to come to bring your black behind to their school. It's hard.
Well, let me show you how slick they is though. Since you're talking about sports, so it's something a little different, but pretty much the same thing. When I was in high school, we wore what we want, but they had a couple of businesses that were failing in Platinum. You know what they did
Right.
to help those businesses?
What do you do? Get
Enacted the uniform. I guess you call it the school um, policy. All students have to wear a uniform. Now they use the excuse that children were getting in fights over designer clothing, bullying, saying that well, you wearing cheap stuff from Walmart, we got name brand stuff and y'all don't. And they say that there were a lot of fights because of that. So to make it all fair and even, we're gonna make everybody wear uniforms.
that was here down here.
But
Same
we
thing.
found out that in order they did that, they really did it in order to help a couple of failing businesses. So those business, because think about it, who all, everybody pretty much sell uniforms now because they are required. So it's a
Yeah.
steady income stream.
Right.
And those companies that were failing in Plaquemine, they became successful instantly. They were mostly sports stores, but then Walmart started getting them. And that's when everything
Right.
started kind of like evening out. But
Right.
after that, we had to go to the like Don Sportsman places like that and get our unit. Well, not me, but the students that were in at the time had to start going to Don places like Don Sportsman and get their uniform
Right. Right.
because it was required. You know, but like I say, prior to that, I mean, which they still got fights They still fighting on campus.
Yep.
But people in life think they could tell you anything, and it's believable. You know,
Wow.
if we look at, it's two things I always say. Oh, everybody is constantly trying to figure out a way to make money, but nobody's trying to figure out a way not to need it at all.
Right.
You know, same thing with racism.
But let me hold on. Let me stop you right there. Now, do you think that what is this thing now? Bitcoin, Bitcoin, coin. I mean Bitcoin.
I
So
don't pretty much know too much about that. I never did the research.
Cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Yeah, cryptocurrency. They saying that everything gonna be basically electronic.
I've been hearing two like a two-sided coin with that. Like it's saying is some people saying it's gonna fold, and some people say it's gonna replace cash. Period.
Right, and that's the scary part, which I don't mind it, but it keeps put it this way. Regardless, criminals gonna always figure out a way to get the money. So they just have to up their game in the on the intellect part. But hell, you man, look, if they scamming cards, your credit cards, and for some reason, what makes you think that crypto, man, that stuff they're gonna get hold to that money? So let's say they do away with currency. Everything your job do is pay you in cryptocurrency, which meaning you got a company card with your salary on there. Every 2 weeks or every week, whatever you get paid, and you swipe, that's what it is. You know. Now, to make it interesting, I heard this guy say, with banks, you know, people put their money in savings or whatever, and your money is insured up to $250,000. He said that your investment should be in the insurance that insure your money in the bank. So instead of me keeping my money in the bank and drawing low interest rate on a savings account, I could just put my money and invest in their insurance company that insuring the bank, because the insurance have more money than the bank.
Well,
that makes sense.
I got a good one for you though. Since you're on that train, don't get off it. I got a good one for you, and you just made me think about it. You know, you always sparking thought in. Since we're always looking for an upgrade in society.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
You know, like how being that you and I, we're in the commercial driving business.
Right.
They talk about replacing all the drivers with trucks that drive themselves. Why nobody's replacing these banks with this old technology called the banking system?
Correct.
It gives us a system where, you know, we could make good money off our investment, or good money off our, or, you know, if we put money in the bank, we could get something better than 0.5%, you know, maybe like 3 or 4% off our own, you know, a return on our money.
Right.
Why is nobody improving banking?
No, they kind of want to keep you poor because they know. I seen this thing on this movie with what's your boy name? I can't remember that. Mos Def. Him and Gabrielle Union played in. He played this doctor that created the first. I guess he did the first heart transplant. I can't remember.
Gifted hands or something.
Gifted hands, yeah, something like that. And he went to draw his money out the bank, and they closed the bank. And he had his savings in it. He couldn't even get his savings because he lost his savings. I think that's where the insurance part come in for, you know, because they actually moved it up from 100,000 to 250,000. But why did they do that? Well, who getting this money? Well, another show with Samuel L. Jackson and forgot this other black dude name, but it was on the Apple channel, where this young boy growing up how to open up his own bank and invest in all. It's a true story. It was just, you know, unique true story. Didn't know man Snow White. She said, "Oh, I be damn. They was doing that in the bank." Yes, they was. You mean, because see, remember, black businesses was booming back then in the, I would say, like the 20s and the 30s, and especially during the Tulsa riots. You know, they shut them down. Well, because why? You know, we understood more of inventing, taking something that we've seen out there in the barn shed and making it work, and inventing new stuff and new technology and stuff like that. Well, once you have that African Egyptian intellectual in you, man, because you're trying to figure out how do they build them rocks up. They ain't got no machine, they ain't got no heavy machinery. How did they did that? Now, I'm gonna step out on a limb and say this, quick food for thought, is that this is to clarify that there was giants back then today. I believe that, because there's no way. I mean, I would have to use. I
don't believe the giant theory.
Well, see, that's what I say. I beg.
I'm gonna tell you why. Every time you see a story about giants on the internet, it's always male giants. Where the damn female giants at?
Well,
how you gonna?
You're correct. You're so correct. You're correct.
They never discover a body of a female giant.
That is
not correct. Only that, like when I had conversation with people about what they call them, the Nephilim. For one, Ralph Waldo, the tallest human being ever lived, and we know from living life that anybody that's over 7 feet tall, they have all kind of health complications. They can't walk. Their body is distorted. They messed up. So you mean to tell me they had 20, 30 feet tall people and it was normal with no problems, and it was able to, do physical labor. On a higher level for real.
It's food, like I said, that's some food for thought for you behind right there. Because think about it. If and you're so correct. You're like, okay, well, who created them? Of course, we heard the story about the angels coming down, having sex with the women.
With what? And angels don't have sexual members.
Right. And I don't know, they overshadow them with their power or whatever. And the woman got the orgasm. I don't know. I believe somebody's DNA, because you can't have Shaq them tall like that. Because that's just too tall for all of them. We got some tall guys in the NBA and for NFL. So something had to be left. They didn't have to be left here. This is just my opinion and thought on it. To
how would a spiritual being have DNA?
That good question.
One couple of guys back home say, well, they just like God. They was able to just think it and the woman to be pregnant. Really? You believe that? Same, I guess that
I wish I could do that.
Yeah, you know what I'm
saying? I have me some Jason Juniors running.
That's what I'm saying. Same way, like God had to use a tree with fruit hanging from it to pass knowledge to another human being.
Right.
Now, you believe that?
Man, come on, man. Come on.
The tree of knowledge, because if I bite it, I'm gonna get smart.
Get smart.
So God can just make me smart straight up?
Just by biting the tree, and all because the instructions they said wasn't given to Eve correctly. Now, I mean, we can go now. Let me just change the subject right quick on a quick fact.
We got to go back to that though. We got to go back.
We're gonna go back to it, but what I'm saying is gonna lead back to it. What do you think about Megan Good and her husband divorcing?
Oh, I didn't know anything about it.
Now he's Seventh-day Adventist pastor, and
I remember her marrying somebody.
Right. He's Seventh-day Adventist. Now the question, the thing is, why they getting the married? Now, you got all kinds of people got all kinds of belief out there about their situation. But I know she said she waited to to have sex, get married, stuff like that. But her being an actor and everything,
I knew that wasn't gonna work.
Yeah, and Lord knows
she wanted something totally different from the industry that she was in. That's why she went that route.
Right. I really was pulling for them.
Not me, because I wanted it myself.
Well, she from Louisiana, I know. Because she's from the state of look good.
Man, I've been crazy about her since whatever, man. I know. That is a beautiful woman. She got the whole package, baby. She got everything. She ain't short on nothing.
But to fast forward, they said the reason why they said is that she had to do this segment where she had to lick this dude ass on I guess one of the movies, And I think she said, I couldn't take that. That's enough of that. Oh, and I'm sure somebody will probably been whispering in his ear, like,
so
hey,
she had to actually do that. I thought they had
not actually probably do it, but it's just I guess segment of, even if you attempt, or this is put into the script, that's what it may looks like she's doing. And of course,
they got a stunt double for that, though.
But man, but I think these are the consequences one have to deal with when you deal with Hollywood, right? And you're trying to make money, and they want their deviant mind. They want to see it. Like I said, I was actually pulling for it, because I think they were just a beautiful couple in the sense of, they said they wait indefinitely. I believe Russell Wilson just really changed Ciara. He just basically he challenged her. Like, hey, you ain't with this. You ain't with the other average. You ain't with an average dude. You with a guy who put God first in his life. And I ain't said religion now. I said God. I ain't said number. So, and I think he challenged her, like, hey, we're gonna stay celibate until if we decide to get married. Now, if we dating, we're not doing none of that. And I remember her saying this anyway. She said, I never had nobody, no male, to even attempt to even do that. So that right there shows you the I guess the ability of how us men should respond. But at the same time, of course, I'm going to also go to Paul in 1 Corinthians, saying, she passed the flower of her age, do what you must, need to do. But Paul makes sure he said it's better to marry than to burn. So he had to add that part in to kind of counter what he's saying. Like, if she passed the flower of her age, go ahead and do what you need to do with her, But is it? I think my question is, do you really think that would have lasted? Because I just couldn't believe, he when he said he was a pastor, and I was like, man, I don't know. He married a Hollywood hottie like that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be kind of hard to do.
That's what I know.
Especially him being a pastor. You know how much pressure that is during them conferences he had to attend, and all them dudes looking at him like, man, you got a wife like that. And I just seen what she's on that 50 Cent video and all that other stuff,
So did they have children?
I don't think they had any children. I don't think, because they only.
I'm looking at it now.
They only been there they only been married like 9 years, 9 to 10 years. So it's man, kind of a hard pill to swallow in a sense,
Like, she must be already divorced though, because they got her from 2012 to 2021. As being married to this dude.
They just done it. They just got divorced. And then they say it was agreed upon.
About to hit the gym, baby. Give me a membership tomorrow. Oh, Martin Luther King.
Look at you, like, boy, look at she is an attractive young lady, I tell you, boy. She is really attractive, But man, look at here, Doc. Man, what do you say about this here? Let me do something right quick, man. Hold up. All right, y'all, we are back live again. We love you guys for continue to tuning in with us. I'm chopping up with my main man, Scratch Daddy, and I'm your boy, the J I Am.
Well, man, I knew he couldn't have been just a preacher. Dude was a Columbia studio exec.
Okay.
So
he couldn't just
made the bread.
You can't just rely on 7 Day Adventist volunteer money.
Volunteer.
Volunteer money. not messing with Megan Good, Doc. Yeah, not messing with Megan Good, Doc. But
that's what I'm saying.
You know, but it's like she got a real down to earth spirit. You know, that's the good thing about it. But I think she's trying to get involved in the community, and I think that's the good thing about it is I think this experience is gonna really help her see that, man, you can't let Hollywood ruin your love life. You just can't, man. And you know how many of them band of people that got ruined because of Hollywood?
Mm-hmm.
You just can't, man. You just can't.
Yeah, you got to make a choice, Hollywood or your your marriage. So
yeah, man.
I can't point to one successful Hollywood marriage. I mean, I'm sure they probably got them out there, but I don't know of any. You know.
Yeah, only thing I can think of, Denzel and his wife, they've been together a long time. Of course, but about Will Smith and his wife, they open relationship, and that's just crazy.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Of course, they said Jada, took advantage, and that's supposed to be her son friend, and he come up to the house, but Jada then got the eye for him. That's
Will
crazy.
was wounded behind that. He's crying like old broad, man. I'm like,
yeah,
chicken like that.
Yeah, but the crazy part about it, he told me, ain't gonna never be a divorce. But okay, well, you got to accept if she just cut loose and you can't, you holler, you didn't want to get no divorce. All right, I get it. I get you trying to live up to a certain standard, but hey, man, ain't no way nowhere you gonna cut. And then somebody that was invited to the house to stay.
That straightened him out, though.
That straightened it.
It took him down a peg.
Yeah. But you know what?
He needed that.
And he needed that, and that's why I think he's going on his bucket list thing.
Yeah.
He said, just in
case. You see that dude, bro.
Just in case I go even like killing Jada, I might well just go ahead and take these, take this, knock this little bucket list out, and then come back.
Him and Jazzy Jeff gonna be like OJ and what's his name? Huh?
Man, like, y'all gonna be rapping behind bars.
Yeah, rapping behind bars. You know what I'm saying?
I better cut that bull crap out, man. Forget that. But
the extended version.
But you know what, man? Let me tell you something, Ramon. Scratch that, man. Look here, man. We have seen a lot. We experienced a lot being in Oklahoma and all of those crazy traveling, coming across different people. And what I have noticed is, man, during this COVID, people have decided, you know what? I'm going to just sit home, collect unemployment, and I'm going to start that project I always wanted to start, in my garage, whether it's building chairs or building stuff or what you call them, arts and craft, make the little jewelry and stuff. And people start opening up their business. I think COVID was a good thing, because what it did was it drawed out a lot of people potential that they had, that they didn't know that they had in them. And they always wanted to start a business. So now pretty much COVID forced the people. And I think that's a part of the anger that your government have against the people, of saying, damn, we try to kill them off and make them sick and all that, but these people are resilient, man. They done started business. They people ain't coming back to work. You know how much the shortage is of bus drivers and truck drivers all over the world.
I'm glad that happened.
Yeah, that's why I say, what? Good. Because what it did is push people. It even pushed me to even train more with the kids, and parents pay for the training, and I just believe it, man. Good, fine. It upped my game and stuff like that. Well, I got what I have to do, but at the same time, I'm like, man, who's behind all of this? Is it secret society? Is it the 33rd Masonry, Freemason? I don't know who is, because you got a bunch of rich folks.
Architect.
Man, look,
but see, my thing was, y'all treat workers unfairly.
Of course. Of course.
Now that they done exited the workforce, you got a problem with that too.
Right. And then you get upset about them because, oh, nobody ain't coming back to work. Man, like I said, I had a dude tell me, man, his liquor store, I think I probably told you this, that he hired somebody to work his liquor store. They took a lunch break, didn't even come back.
Oh, that's good for him. Yeah.
I was like, well, so I get somebody walking the liquor store, ain't nobody at the counter because the worker he didn't even come back. They said he didn't even come back at all. I'm like, so what they letting you know, I think what it is that American people is finally, I ain't gonna say all of them, but the majority of them is finally waking up and said, fast forward today, you 50 something, I'm 50 something, or you almost 50, or I'm 54. You mean to tell me
52 in February?
Okay, look here. You 52, I'm 54, and minimum wage still at $7 and something. That's the thing. It's not even double digit, Ramon. What? And we're in the richest country in society, and you mean to tell me y'all not even in double digits and paying the American people at least $10 an hour? At least that. But you didn't got these people in double digits. You there's no one way I should be pushing for 15. I should be pushing for $20 an hour minimum wage. But they don't want that. But American people go for it. And I think that's where they said, okay, enough is enough. I'm gonna try to start my own business, whether it's what we talked about with the delivery, our own carrier company. And then you got a lot of people doing that now. They take one truck or they try to get a new, and they like, man, look, I'm making enough money that I was making even I was working with somebody. On the downside, I don't have no insurance. I just have to buy outside insurance on my own and see how that's going to play out. I just, man, it's a lot of stuff that, I think a lot of the American people is finally waking up to. And if we don't really make a move where it's going to really benefit us in the next, I said by the next 10 years, 10 to 12 years, it's going to be rough.
That's why we need to be working on a system where we don't need money.
Yeah. It's going to be really rough, especially for the younger kids, like your nieces and nephew, my child, because just imagine, man, you had a newborn or something, and before they get 15 years old, you don't even know how this society gonna be still functioning correctly. It's already on his last leg anyway. We got to just making adjustments, man. But of course, that's where the 40 acres and a mule come in at. And we have 40 acres because you could do some stuff with some land.
Yeah,
you can do a lot of stuff with some land.
Well, I my feelings hurt because it went from let's mass produce crops so we can get the population of human up, so we can compete globally against other countries. To now it's where it's too many people. We need to kill off of maybe half the population. Then they got the nerve to put it on different movies like the Avengers. When Thanos killed half the population, you think we that dumb? You could use a movie to make us comfortable about dying,
right? And see,
and make it feel like it's for the better good.
Now, if you seen that movie Internals,
yeah,
you seen it?
Uh-huh.
Tell me what you think about it. Because that was the first time I seen it today at home. And I was like, man, this stuff got a lot of question marks in my head and a lot of why would they put that in the movie?
Talking about the Easter eggs, how they call it when you get the little gems.
Yeah,
they call it Easter eggs.
Why would they make this kind of type of movie like this? But you have to look at it from I would look at it more from a spiritual perspective when the Elestro was talking to her, when he zoomed her up into space, and that he said, I made the mistake. He said, but I was created someone to correct my mistake. and hope that the rest of the humans will fall in place and correct it. He said, but if it's not, I will bring judgment. And I was like, man, this sounds so familiar.
Yep.
So it's a lot of stuff, man. I'll be just thinking about, man, like what is really going on? What's really going on?
Well, that's why I asked you earlier, how, the Pope bills himself as God's representative on earth. That's who the Pope say he is. Why does God need a representative on earth?
Well, that's a hustle.
I don't need you for nothing.
That's a man hustle.
That's a man. Ooh,
that's a man
hustle.
Is
it a man hustle?
That's a hustle, man. And you like, I bet you like, man, you a reverend. Why are you talking like, man? I find out it's a hustle, man.
It's a hustle, baby. You know what I'm saying? Anytime money changes hands, is a hustle.
You think Superfly was cool, man? Sure, man.
Yeah, that is pimping on another level.
Hey, look, if I could get 10,000 people to give me 10% of their earnings, because everybody's not making the same dollar bill. But if I can get everyone to make 10%,
makes it fair.
Yeah. So it's 10% across the board, no matter what if you make $100 a year, I'm gonna get that $10.
I need 10%.
I need 10% of that. So just imagine somebody in your congregation making $10 million. Just one person, where he's the athlete or whatever, or you got movie stars in your church, and they actually get 10%. Man, that's a hustle. And only thing I have to do is give you words of encouragement.
Daddy, make mac and cheese.
Okay, sweetie.
Daddy, just make it.
You see that? Okay, I'm finna make it, sweetie.
I told you, my cousins, man, they wanted to hang me up and flog me because I said that anytime money's changing hands, I got a problem with that. And it was like, well, when you go to work, do you tell them keep your paycheck? Well, I need you to show me in your Bible where it says Jesus took money for doing God's will.
Yeah, I would like to say, love to see that.
Yeah, I would love to see it. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to use what scripture that Teague, where they talk about the Levites being religious leaders of the 12 tribes of Israel, and they were to give the 10% of their earnings to support them. Are you a Levite, ma'am? Are you a Levite? I don't think you're a Levite.
And that Old Testament right there. And
that's what I'm saying.
And that was in it's not Deuteronomy. It's Chronicles. I think I'm going through. But man, look here, Doc. Let me do this quick countdown. Then I'm gonna come right back, and then we're gonna close out. All right, we are back live again. We're going to close out, and I'm your boy JIM with my main man Scratch Daddy. It's been a blessing. We're going to end the broadcasting on this good note. Y'all stay vigilant. Y'all stay woke. If you got any ideas, shoot us a message in the comment. Leave us a comment. If you want to comment on the story that you think we should be doing or talk about something, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And we would love to see more of you on our show. Say something to the people. Scratch.
What Russell Silver say? Thanks for coming out. Man, that dude to kill me every time. I'm like, all that money you ain't gonna try to get your way you talk fixed. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Right. Boy, you crazy.
I'll let you be.
But yeah, man, shoot. Yeah, I know they ain't. I bet you they better not delete this day.